My little Gumball. Friendship is Amazing, written by Heartless Nobody 1992. The beginning. Gumball Watterson is just your average 12-year-old blue cat who goes to junior high, tends to fall asleep sometimes at class and always get into an adventurous yet disastrous mischief one after another, whether it be to avoid trouble, to help others, or just have fun with his best friend, Darwin. So basically, it's just a normal thing to do in a small hometown of Elmore. One day, his sister Anna asked blackmailed him to watch a new TV show called My Little Pony. Friendship is magic with her, to which he begrudgingly agrees. During the show there was a thunderstorm, to which a bolt of lightning that struck the TV antenna, that caused the TV to act strange, that soon pulls Gumball into it, transporting him into the show itself. Now, with the help of the main six, Gumball will go on to many adventures to learn the true meaning, as well as magic, of friendship. As long as he gets home in time for dinner. Elmore. A quaint little place that seems to be just like your average town, well, depending on how you look at it. But the one thing that can be said about this little town are the people who reside in it, being the civilians. At first you would have figured that these folks exactly look like a town full of some failed cereal mascots, but some might take that as a sort of compliment. Now, there are so many people here that you thought that might consider too normal despite their appearances. And that's where we go to the home of this one peculiar family. Welcome to the home of the Wattersons. Here in a small suburban street lives the most unusual family within the entire town of Elmore. With them being the type of family that you might consider being tight-knit, however, they usually always end up in getting into the most outrageous arguments which could lead either one or all into some type of trouble, whether it be serious or not. But just like any type of family, they always manage to find a way to fix everything and make everything go back to normal, sort of. But for this family, it's always every day with them. Now on this very sunny day, we see one of our protagonists, just sitting by his computer desk looking out of his room window. Let me introduce you to Elmore's very own Gumball Watterson. The eldest of the Watterson children, being only of the age of 12, he's a blue cat who resembles his mother Nicole Watterson, that often tends to be very optimistic at times, but he's usually known to be a troublemaker. He sleeps in during classes, often gets beat up by the bullies every once in a while, and causes mischief alongside his adopted brother/best friend, Darwin, who was a talking goldfish, with legs. Sigh, man, I'm so bored. Gumball said as he gave an exasperated sigh. He rested his head upon his right hand, thinking on what to do for today. Darwin was out with their mom doing grocery shopping, so they wouldn't be back until at least 20 minutes. He could see what his dad was doing, but he probably could be asleep on the family couch while watching the family TV set. He sighed once again as he raised his head from his desk and left his bedroom and headed downstairs to the kitchen on what to find to snack on. Gumball soon walked down the stairs that lead toward both the front door entrance and where the living room resided. And as he nearly passed the family couch, he saw his lazy pink rabbit father, Richard Watterson, asleep on the couch as he predicted, snoring loudly. He then silently as well as nonchalantly passed the couch and entered straight into the kitchen. He opened up the refrigerator door, which contained a smorgasbord of many delectable foods ranging from a carton full of eggs, to a BLT, bacon lettuce tomato, sandwich, to which his father had bitten earlier. Gumball just shrugged and took his father's sandwich and sat right at his usual eating place at the dining room table and began to eat into the once delectable-looking sandwich. While chewing on the food, he began to think of what else could he do on this summer day. Well, he could go and see his schoolmate/crush, Penny Fitzgerald, but he had two problems. 1. She was doing summer school, and 2. He was pretty sure that her father, Patrick Fitzgerald, wouldn't allow it. At all. Ever. Or he could go and visit his other schoolmate/friend Carrie Kruger, but then he suddenly remembered that she along with her parents are for the moment out of town to visit her other family members. Well, his other schoolmate/rival Tobias Wilson, well, he doubted he wanted to see him as well as Tobias' other friends, if he had any at all. For Gumball, trying to figure out what to do on a nice, warm, sunny day was giving him nothing short of a migraine and more. Man, I wish that Darwin was here at home with me, Gumball said to himself. At least he would help me figure out what I could do for today. Well, luckily for you, I have just the answer for your predicament. The young, familiar sound from behind the seat had caused Gumball to jump in his seat. He then turned around to notice that his sister, the youngest of the Watterson children, 4-year-old Anna Watterson, whom resembled her father in all but smarts and mannerisms. She usually is known to be the intellectual child out of the three, but still tends to act like a child nonetheless, and is seen always holding onto her Daisy the donkey doll in her arms, just smiling. And by the way she was smiling, it looked a little too innocent. Gumball sighed at his sister's sudden arrival. What do you want, Anna? Well, I just wanted to see if you were doing anything today. Then Anna's smile grew a little bigger. And since it seems you've got nothing on your plate, well, except for Dad's sandwich, I figured you could stay home, relax and watch a TV show with me." Her comment had suddenly piqued Gumball's curiosity. "Oh, and may I ask what this show is about, Anna's smile didn't even falter a bit. "Well, it's a new show that I wanted to watch that will start in an hour. It's gonna have the 2 first episodes as 2-parters. So I figure it should be good enough for you at least." Gumball could only nod while he took another bite of the sandwich in his hand. "Okay then, what's the name of the show?" "My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic," quoted Anna. Gumball nearly choked on his food that he was eating. It took all of his efforts to not to spit out the sandwich he was eating out of his mouth. He then ran towards the refrigerator door to grab the milk carton that was in front of him and managed to chug down the chewed up chunk of the sandwich he also once enjoyed. After he managed to swallow the soggy food in his throat, Gumball looked at his sister with a gaze that plainly said, "Are you insane?" right on his face. Cough, cough what? "Oh no. No, 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 no. I am not watching a show that is meant for little girls. That is not happening." Why not?" Anna said in a whiny tone with a disappointed look on her face. Gumball then took a nice, calm look as he looked upon his little sister. "Anna, I love you, since you're my little sister, your only little sister," Anna interjected with a slight frown on her face. Right, got it," Gumball said with an annoyed tone, "and as such you should know that if I start watching any kind of girly show now and if the other kids finds out that I watch said girly show, then," he shivered for a short moment, "it won't end pretty well for me. So it comes to the terms that no matter what, I will never watch that girly girl show." Anna looked down towards the ground as if she was thinking of something. "So no matter I try to do, you won't watch the show with me?" Gumball stood defiantly with his arms crossed. "Anna, no matter what you say or do will get me to change my mind, because I will never, ever, ever watch that show. Not in a million years. Never. Please remind me one more time on how you got me to watch the show with you." Gumball asked his sister as he sulked with his face in the palm of his hands. "Well, like I said," she started to say. "I said that if you weren't gonna watch the show with me, I'll show all of these to Mom." She then gestured towards a huge box full of papers. "And you'll know what will happen next." Gumball sighed once more as he lay back against the family couch where their father slept on in Festband. He should have known that both he and Darwin should have burned all those report cards during the beginning of summer vacation. Note to self, Gumball thought with a look of pure irritation on his face. "Don't hide the box of report cards in the bedroom closet. Ever again." "All right then," Anna said as she held up a blank tape in her right hand. "Let's get started. Let's just get this over with," grunted Gumball. "Besides, I got better things to do." Anna just rolled her eyes with a deadpan expression on her face. "Yeah, sure. Keep telling yourself that, big bro," she thought to herself. She then turned on the TV to turn it to the appropriate channel. Afterwards, Anna turned towards Gumball's direction. "Are you ready?" she asked her eldest brother. Gumball looked towards Anna and then the TV, then back to Anna and gave her the go-ahead hand gesture. Anna just smiled and put the tape in the VCR and pressed the play button and sat right next to Gumball. And while the show started playing, Gumball just stared towards the TV with a thoughtful look on his face. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt to give it a chance. Despite of all the stuff he said earlier about the show in general, Gumball decided it wasn't that bad after all. Well, except that theme song. It was terrible. Well, even if it was a show about dainty, colorful type of ponies meant for little girls, he thought that it was pretty unique in its own way. From the beginning of the first episode, though he won't openly admit it, he was pretty hooked on how the show itself progressed, by introducing the 6 main characters. The first character, Twilight Sparkle, who was a purple unicorn with a purple mane with a pink stripe who's talented with magical spells and such. Wooded baby dragon for a #1 assistant named Spike and is also that faithful student to Princess Celestia, whom she had sent her down to the town of Ponyville to check on everything for the upcoming Sun Festival. The next character, Pinkie Pie, was a pink earth pony with frilly hair who acted way too excited and acted crazy all the time. She kinda reminded Gumball of Banana Joe, somewhat, that claimed to be Ponyville's #1 party pony that works at a bakery known as Sugar Cube Corner. Then after, did the show introduce Applejack, an orange earth pony who kinda looked like a cowgirl, or in this case, a cow pony. She also worked on an apple farm with her family who specialized in working with apples that were to be the best tasting apples in all of Equestria. Next was Rainbow Dash, whom right from the start that she reminded him of a pony version of Tobias, except she is Cyan Pegasus with a rainbow mane and tail. She acts a little crude and be a little lazy when it came to work, but man was she a fast flyer when she soars to the sky. Then along came Rarity, a white unicorn whose spite just fell for at the first sight of her. She specializes in making clothes but seemed to be too much of a drama queen when it came to set clothing, fashion, etc., much to Twilight's displeasure. And finally, there was the sweet, soft-spoken Fluttershy, who reminded Gumball of Penny in so many ways. Like her name portrays, was a very timid. However, she had a talent with caring for all kinds of animals. Heck, she was ecstatic when she first saw Spike, much to his pleasure. So far, there was a party at the town's library where Twilight would be staying, much to Twilight's dislike. Then as everyone got ready for the arrival of Princess Celestia, things went wrong when they introduced the villain, Nightmare Moon, much to everyone's horror, and much to Gumball's interest. She explained that she has imprisoned Celestia and that she was going to rule all of Equestria in an endless night for the rest of eternity. Then the next episode played after the first one, which had the 6 main characters at the library having a discussion on how to stop Nightmare Moon by using some magical items known as the Elements of Harmony, and that the only way to get them was by going to the castle of the 2 sisters within the Everfree forest. Twilight offered to go on her own, however the others thought it would be better if they went with her instead of her going alone. Soon, the 6 mares started their quest through the Everfree forest. Nightmare Moon kept putting the ponies in dangerous situation, like putting a thorn in a chimera's paw. To which Fluttershy tamed the beast with kindness to pull out the thorn, only for the chimera to thank her. Then, having the 6 ponies to nearly fall off a cliff, only to have Twilight holding onto Applejack's hooves, but then getting Twilight to trust her when she'd be on the ground safe and unharmed. Then having Pinkie Pie laugh at the scary faces on multiple trees, only to sing a song to cheer up everyone, to which caused them to laugh at the trees too. Then they came across a gap on a creek with a weeping serpent whose one side of the mustache got cut off, much to Rarity's sympathy. She then used the serpent's scale to cut off her tail hair to fix his mustache and return to get to the other side of the creek. Then as they neared the bridge to the castle ruins, Rainbow Dash flew to the other side to fix the bridge, only to have a few dark-looking ponies in suits called Shadows Bolts offer Rainbow Dash to become one of them if she drops the bridge on her friends, only for Rainbow to deny the request, much to their irritation. Then they made it inside the ruins only to finally confront Nightmare Moon. Gumball had a small smile on his whiskered face. He was both glad that he was gonna finish both episodes, but in a weird way kinda depressed that the episode was soon coming to a close. Then, he looked over at his sister, whom seemed to get into the show more than he was, which didn't surprise him very much, or even at all. Then, there a large booming noise that was coming from outside. Both Gumball and Anna was startled for a bit, only for Gumball to get up to see what was going on outside. He went by the windows, only to pull the shades back a bit to see that there was a thunderstorm outside of the house. A thunderstorm? Huh, that's weird, Gumball thought in confusion while he looked on outside. The weatherman said that it would be sunny all day long. He then heard a loud growling noise from behind him, only to see Anna on the couch rubbing her stomach. She then proceeded to get up off the couch only to look towards Gumball's direction. I'm starting to feel a little hungry, so I'm going into the kitchen to find me a snack. She then proceeded to head towards the kitchen when she stopped only to turn around to look towards her big brother. Would you like anything while I'm in there? Gumball scratched his head only for a minute to decide on what he wanted Anna to get for him. Do you mind if you could give me a glass of milk? Asked Gumball. Anna only nodded and said okay, sure. She turned to head towards the kitchen but stopped only to say, but you better not leave the room while I'm gone. Are you serious? Asked an obviously very annoyed Gumball. I mean it. Don't you dare leave, or, she stopped only to point towards the giant box of report cards that sat next to the side of the family couch. Fine, whatever, grunted Gumball. Great. I'll be right back. She then walked straight into the kitchen, leaving a very irritated Gumball alone. He then said as he went back on the floor once more, as he continued to watch the show. As soon as he sat down, he gave out a very exasperated sigh. Man, he thought as he shook his head. How do I manage to get myself into these type of messes? He then turned his attention back towards the show as the 6 ponies managed to obtain the Elements of Harmony. Oh well, at least the show is almost done, which means that I'll be free soon. Meanwhile, outside of the Watterson household, the thunderstorm was getting a lot worse as lightning bolts were flashing in the sky, which caused the wind outside to blow even harder, to which it caused the TV antenna on the roof to shake a lot. While inside the house, as Gumball was about to see the ponies finish off Nightmare Moon, the TV soon started to lose the picture and caused some static to come up on the screen. Great, just terrific. Gumball grumbled. He then got off the couch to walk towards the front of the TV to smack the side to fix the problem. Come on, you stupid thing, work. You better work or I'll never hear the end of it from Anna. He then only got a minor view of Twilight and friends blast out a rainbow-like beam towards Nightmare Moon, only at the exact moment that a random bolt of lightning struck the antenna to which the electricity traveled through the TV cable, which then managed to strike the TV, causing the screen to glow a prism-like color. "For the last time, you sorry excuse for an entertainment system," I said. "What?" shouted Gumball as he started to smack the TV screen. As soon as his hand touched the screen, he felt his arm go through as he felt like he was being pulled into a black hole. Gumball started to freak out as he was trying to pull his arm back out, however, he was failing miserably. Before long, it soon pulled most of Gumball into the TV before Gumball managed to cry out for help. The TV screen managed to pull him all the way in, causing Gumball to disappear into the TV, leaving nothing but the space where Gumball once stood at, as well as the television screen covered with static. "Hey Gumball, I checked the fridge to see if we had any milk left, but there's no more left. However, we do have some orange juice if you like to have." Anna came back into the living room holding a bottle of orange juice, only to look up and see an empty room with no sign of Gumball, her sleeping dad on the couch, and the TV showing nothing but static on the screen. And he's gone," she sighed, pinching the bridge of her nose in irritation. It was quiet in the middle of what was once a castle, now nothing more than ruins. Then out of nowhere, a magical burst happened when a rainbow-colored portal opened from the top of the ceiling, causing Gumball to fall out of it and onto the cold, hard floor with a great, loud thud. Groaning in pain, Gumball managed to pick himself up off the floor, shook the cobwebs from his head and looked around. As he was trying to pull himself together, he decided to have a look around. To him, it looked like an abandoned castle, to which the proof was that there were mold on the walls, vines were wrapping themselves on the pillars that were still holding up the worn-out ruins. Now Gumball just couldn't help but thinking that he'd seen this place before. If only there was someone who could just help. "Oh dear. Excuse me, sir, are you okay?" asked a familiar voice that came from behind Gumball. He then turned around and was about to answer when what he saw next left him completely speechless. Who he managed to gaze at was none other than Twilight Sparkle and her other 5 friends, looking upon Gumball with curiosity, nervousness, and most of all, interest. Now, in this case scenario, our dear Gumball Watterson did the only logical thing that he could possibly think of at a moment like this: he fainted.